But yeah, it's just kind of unfortunate. Like Stellaris is like one of the more like, oh man, they wasted a lot of potential on this.
Oh yeah.
Like it's definitely their biggest like, oh fuck. And people will like it, but the only people that want to like play it, as far as I can tell, are people that have like not played it a lot at all.
I know my friends are always like, "Oh, I can't wait to like that's like the meme, you know." It's like, oh, when I am in the girlfriend's con or whatever, like you can find a place with Stellaris, and I'm like, well, I don't know if that's the game I would play first. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not very good. It's just mired with so many problems. Like that just kind of like take away from the whole experience. Like the fact that warfare is not enjoyable or satisfying is like really bad. Like warfare is just a chore. Like it's a fucking ball ache to like go and invade a planet. And the planetary management is like mildly interesting, but not really. Like I've seen it done in so many better ways in 4X's that don't require this much fucking micro, where you're just like, oh, build everything on. Like these people are fucking stupid. They need the government to go and plan everything for them, and they'll even move to places that just are like unemployment 40%, just as in immigration up 60%. You know, people like just go. They don't follow the money. They follow the unemployment or whatever the fuck. Oh, you invited me into a federation now. Why not? Actually, can I declare independent wars if I'm a federation? If I'm in a federation?
I can tell you.
Because I don't really see any benefit in confederating
Well,
it. Like,
I didn't invite you. My co-partner did.
I don't see any benefit in confederating if it takes away my independence. Because you know,
In that instance, you have to be like,
nah, I don't need protection.
it's okay. You can always federate at the end of the game. You know what I mean?
Nah,
Any wars I would declare. All right, because I don't have the.
I'm still trying to get my civics right. Yeah, yeah. So I guess the main list would be make anomalies, just like lower the amount of anomalies drastically. Then make anomalies that like make more interesting anomalies and make them appear on the map. Like make them like a thing that's just like a resource in Civ or something like that, where you can just kind of see that it's on the map there. Don't as little pop-ups as possible. If you can get away with no pop-ups, then that's great. And then just, you know, fucking do that, because I don't play this to play like a fucking RPG, you know. I don't like a shit RPG where it's always the same thing over and over again. It's like, you know, have you ever had one of those adventure books? You know, the replayability on those adventure books is like two or three times, and then you know you've done every possible thing already.
Like ones where you like flip to
Yeah,
between
go to
pages.
page this one. Yeah,
A little bit, yeah. I
that,
can understand. Like that's not an infinite replayable.
yeah, because you know, like, there's only so many times I can see the fucking floating teapot, like, and be like, ah ha 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 ha, that's so funny.
That's a reference, I
It's a
guess. Yeah.
reference. Oh man, if only I was as big an autist as the guy that wrote this. I was like, fuck me. It's just not good gameplay. Because the worst part is there's nothing on. Like, it's not like, okay, you say yes, you get X. Like, some of the events have that, but not all of them. Especially if there's like an event after it, like you can fucking bet your ass that that you won't know what you're signing up for.
Oh yeah. Well, that's you know my biggest issue with the thing so far.
I can get the planet killer ships if I wanted to. World Shaper, turn planet to the Gaia world, who cares? Naval capacity. Interstellar Dominion is pretty legit. Yeah, like stuff like the Ascension perks though, like I think those are good, right? Like that is an example of something that's good. It's like some of them are not very balanced, like you know how I think Galactic Wonders are like have a fucking need like somebody to actually like look at the stats, because the second you put it on an Excel sheet, it stops making sense. But like the choices are interesting and they're like decent and they kind of like allow you to further shape. Like it needs more shit like that where it's just like make a decision. There, decision is locked in. You done it. You did it. You made a decision based on like your information. Now you have that decision. I can do a tech that has 2,000 or a tech that has my bad, a tech that costs 2,000 to research. I can do that in 2 months, Blarn. It's fucking it.
2,000.
Yeah, I can do that in 2 months. Yeah, I get 1,400 society science per, like after modifiers per thing. 6,000 5 months, you know. And that's because habitats are overpowered. I've made a forum post about it on the Steam forums that's gotten like a whole bunch of traction. I'm like, they're like ring worlds are very weak and like the energy, the fucking Dyson sphere, all that shit pales into insignificance compared to the might that is Habitat. You know? Like Habitat's just so much better at everything. But it's not as impressive.
You know, the devs don't play the game like that.
No, they don't play the game like in a competitive or in like a let's make interesting decisions type of way.
It's kind of like, I really hate that way of thinking, to be honest. It's like, oh, you don't play the game like that because it's not very interesting, because, you know, you really want to like play it like a, you know, an RPG, I guess. It's like, okay, but what if I want to play it like my way?
Yeah.
But by min-maxing, because your way, you can also play it like that, but and my way of playing will not interfere.
Yeah, because if the game is like mostly balanced, right, and like the like stuff that it's like fun and interesting is actually viable, that's good. But if it's non-viable, then like why would I ever, you know, do such a thing? Like why would I ever like subject myself to losing the game for the sake of coolness? Like if doing something that's fun like really shoots me in the foot, you know? Like it doesn't have to be like, it doesn't have to all be like ultra balanced, but it shouldn't be where like a ring world is just so much worse on so many levels than like just a habitat and you have to sacrifice a lot to get it.
Because it's a space wonder, like in Civ.
Yeah, but habitats are like space wonders, but I can just shit them out like mass production style. Like, look at the amount of population I have, Flarn, like, and like across 22 worlds, and like I don't even normal planets. I have like, you know, like about 6 or 7 of them, you know. And I've not been using my influence very efficiently. I've been like using my influence to change my government and like my government ethos, if you know what I mean. Otherwise, I would have had even more habitats by this point. So I'm not even playing like ultra efficiently. Oh yeah, and I think the most cardinal sin is the sin of complete lack of understanding of game balance with the advent of the mechanical races, if you know what I mean. The machine empires are just so powerful. They are like twice, if not three times as strong as their counterparts. And there's no way you can build an organic thing to even come close. Like I've tried. I've like developed the meta, shall we say, and the only empire that came close was one that was a oh my god, what was it, Celestial Empire or whatever the hell it was called, with a, Mandate of Heaven type empire, and it could only keep up in terms of unity and like not even close in terms of resources or anything else, and you're sacrificing the ability to wage wars for that, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So and then if you don't respect balance on that scale, then just throw it all to the wind, like if you're not setting out to make like an esport type of balanced game, then why the fuck do you care what we build on our planets, like you should just let us build like stupid shit on our planets, you should just let us build, like, if you want to build a planet that's nothing but like resource silos or whatever, just let us, because who gives a shit, like
because it's not balanced in our minds.
Yeah, for some reason. The ability to store like a fuck ton of resources is not balanced.
Because we had issues with it in Hearthstone 3, which really like didn't have, like, I don't know why they like refer to that as like a major like stockpiling issue, because you had like 100,000, which was like
not a lot.
Very little.
Yeah, it's a realistic amount. I mean, nations can have like a year or 2 years worth of stockpile of something.
But definitely, if you rely on that as your fuel.
I mean, the Japanese had like a year's stockpile worth of oil, emergency rations in like World War I believe it was. So, what the fuck? Stockpiling is definitely a thing, if you know what I mean. Okay, that's dumb. I hope Wiz writes this ship, because he's definitely made like steps in the right direction, but I feel like you need to take a sledgehammer to like some of the problems in order to fix it. Rather than like
you need a 2.0 patch every patch.
Pretty much. Because you can do this, right? You can be like, oh, so that we don't like offend that like amount of fans that are just super fucking casual and just don't understand what's happening. We should just, instead of like saying that, okay, well, we're just gonna make upgrades automatic or whatever the fuck. I don't think a lot of people would get upset about that, but maybe they do. I don't know. We'll make like an option to make it automatic, but I just think take out building upgrades altogether. Like, just the tech automatically upgrades the building, if you know what I mean. Done, no problem. Or like upgrades it. You can have like, if you want like a mechanic that's interesting, you can have like a development, because it's really unrealistic that the whole of your empire operates on the same developmental standard, if you know what I mean, right? So you can have like a technological spread, like they've developed a system like that before, where technology spreads from like a center point, if you know what I mean.
It's not balanced.
The whole game isn't balanced. The fact that they did a fucking dev MP, and they got like one guy got given the mechanical, like they got given like the Fnatic machine exterminators or whatever the hell, and I was like, if this is a game of equal skill, everybody's equal skill in there, those machine exterminators will destroy everybody unless they all unite together against them.
They should have had 2 of those, and they should have allied. And they, then you would see it's a fucking re-ink, because that is like the most bullshit when the 2 of those allied together.
Oh yeah.
They can even form like federations and shit. This is like so stupid.
We both hate everybody.
It's like like let's declare war on this guy. It's like okay, sure. Oh, here's a Federation fleet, which is it's not. I think like that is one of the parts of the game that is sort of balanced.
Well, the Federation fleet is also quite poorly implemented because there's no Federation fleet capacity.
Yeah,
So that's really shit. It works really bad. What happens, right? Unless they've changed this, but this is what used to happen, right? I assume it's still the same, but I don't really play Federation because Federations are trash. You build a Federation fleet, and then when the next guy gets in charge of the Federation, the fleet transfers over to him, so it's now his fleet. If he doesn't have the naval capacity or the infrastructure to support it, he'll just disband it, because it'll ruin his economy otherwise. And that is super fucking dumb. That is the most retarded thing I've ever seen. So the Federation fleet capacity, it should just be like, oh, you're confederated? Well, we're gonna take 20% or fucking some amount of everybody's fleet capacity, and that'll be the Federation fleet capacity, you know? And that should just work off of like pooled resources or something like that. It should work off of like everybody's, like it should, if it can't take the resources off of like another person, it'll just take it off of like another person. Or maybe the Federation has its own resources, it has its own bank, maybe you pay taxes to the Federation, and that would make sense, But instead it's like, okay, so under the doctrine of, Federation President, like, blee blue blah blarb, we fucking successfully upgraded the Federation fleet to maximum capacity. We are now a force to be reckoned with. Oh shit, Reggie's about to be elected for president. Reggie's empire is only fucking 2 planets. Oh shit, Reggie inherited the military. Oh god, he's disbanding it all. Oh shit, it's ruining his economy. Oh fuck, Reggie, why? And that's a really bad way to run an empire.
You don't say.
It's like if when Europe, or if or slash when Europe gets an army, it'd be like whatever like nationality the dude that's leading, like that's the current like president of the EU or whatever the fuck, or the chief of defense, that his country pays for it all. It's like, fuck me.
Apparently our welfare budget, right, is bigger than that of like every like the Hungary and New Zealand. Our welfare budget.
Yeah.
Than the entire budget of New Zealand. Like,
well, New Zealand doesn't have a high population either. It has like a population of like 1 million or something.
No, 5 million.
Really? Oh my god. I thought New Zealand was very low, like sparsely populated. I have an energy crisis, Blarn. Help. Oh yeah, actually, okay. Like, yeah. Do you?
I can sell you some if you have
yeah,
minerals.
absolutely. I have loads of minerals. Offer trade. How many can you give me monthly, or instantly?
I can give you like 20k instantly, I guess.
Okay, good.
Oh,
what? Oh, right, that's me. Sorry, damn. I was like, well, why can't I give you like that many? And it's like, all right, here you go. Have it, sir. Do you have the capacity to accept 22,000 minerals?
Yeah.
Okay. Here you go. Yeah.
What I needed as well.
Problem solved.
I thought you didn't need
No, I there was a period where I didn't, and then I switched my ethos, and then I did. Now we can do a more permanent deal, now that I'm no longer gonna get annihilated. How much surplus energy do you have?
200. It does fluctuate a bit, but...
Okay.
You can safely...
Here's a deal for you. Yeah, and I did also like upgrade my fleet. I don't know what kind of like fleet in being you have, but I have like 23k, which for a country whose foreign policy is pacifism might be a little bit
I have
absurd.
26k
Oh
right now,
wow,
plus 22k in Federation fleet.
Jesus Christ, that is
I've
a
not really been focusing on it either. It just sort of happened. So this is what I get for like not paying attention to like my event chains. But apparently my home system has like all transformed into like Tomb Worlds or something. So I have like a whole bunch of them now.
huh.
My system has like, I don't know, like 5 planets. Some of them are quite big, most of them are small. So I only done the most beneficial ones, let's say.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna sort out the energy crisis. The energy crisis that I have is like purely my fault. Like I just didn't like. I was so wealthy that I didn't efficiently didn't make a very efficient energy system. So, because I was just focusing 100% on science. I also read a little bit about in my free time. I read a little bit about the Dutch East India Company and how it was like it like formed the basis of like the British East India Company's foreign policy and the way it operated, because it was a very like it was effectively just like an unregulated military that had like full carte blanche to just like do whatever the fuck it wants, if you know what I mean.
I mean that's the Dutch. Yeah, it's very capitalistic.
Incredibly capitalistic. It's interesting. There's a lot of like interesting nuances about it that that give you like a nice it's very good if you are one of them sweet internet communists, you know. It's a lot of capitalism is evil. It's a very good thing to have, because it really supports that, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my people are currently being turned into like synthetics, and apparently they don't like that for some reason. I don't know.
Why?
I don't really understand why. I guess I can kind of understand it because it is a little bit macabre. But I mean, if somebody went up to you, Pilar, and was like, "Look, we can just give you like a synthetic body that lasts for practically ever,"
I'd be like, hell yeah.
and you know, it's like it's not like this isn't like you'll be the first guy to do this, if you know what I mean, kind of situation. You'll be like, "This is Reggie. He's done it as well."
It's like in Deus Ex.
Well, and then you get to like the fucking Soma thing where, what is a person? Like, is there such a thing as like a stream of consciousness or whatever the hell? Would that synth just be a copy of you, or would that be you? You know? How would you know? Because the real you would be dead, wouldn't survive the process. You know?
Well, you could just say the same about your own body right now.
It's
Yes.
true. Because you're kind of like just like your connection to the past is only one way, if you know what I mean. You can only go forward.
I think like that is also like when I'm just like, if I'm like, oh, like let me think about something philosophical. It's always that was like, how the fuck did I choose? How the fuck like, what's the selection process for me ending up in this body, in this place, this right now? I don't really care about like anything like, oh, like who made me. It's like like if you ask like who made God and you get the answers like who made the guy that made God, and you're like, oh,
Well, you get like the really simple answer that God is made up by people.
but like you just like, okay, why did the Big Bang happen? You know, it'd be
Oh,
like,
I
okay,
don't
the
know.
Big
I
Bang
wasn't
happened.
there.
Exactly. Like let's just say we find out the reasons, like when two multiverses, whatever, fucking collide, Big Bang happens, and I was like, okay, but why does that happen? It's like, why does multiverses?
Well,
Why are they made?
maybe the Big Bang is like the result of like effectively the universe already like reaching an end at some point, and then just matter an inherent necessity to exist or something like that.
No, but you can always ask the question like, but who made that up? You know, made that system.
Well, who made up the energy constant or whatever the hell? Like
Yeah.
it's like it just is. Who made up this like spider or whatever the fuck? It just like evolved this way.
So that is why like my question is like, what's the selection mechanic for me ending up where I am right now?
What do you mean where you are right now?
Like who? How the fuck like did I become me?
Your
You know what I mean?
persona, you
Why?
mean?
No, like like why did I like? If this is an MMO, why am I a human
Oh, because humans are like
formation?
apex predators, so their chances of you ending up either a human or an ant like would have been one of the major things.
Or is there anything behind that? Like
Well, your parents existed, and that's probably like where it all began. That's where you can kind of like start to interweave philosophy with like some kind of like you can interweave philosophy, science, and religion, and that's what like smart people do to con stupid people. Is they are very good at like interweaving stuff like that, where you could be like, okay, well, we all have a stream of chi man that originates back to like the first living creature man, and we're all still just taking our chi from that one initial like multicellular organism. And
what's
it's like
his name? Man.
Reginald. But yeah, because like that's an interesting thing that they also addressed in Soma is and that was like another thing. But the ending is a little bit weird because the ending is like the guy just failing to understand what this is all about, if you know what I mean, of Soma. But that's what it is in Soma. If you create a clone of somebody like mentally completely, right? Like if you fall asleep, wake up, exact same memories, exact same personality. That, for all intents and purposes, is that person, if you know what I mean. So, like, but if you just have, it becomes interesting when you have two of those, if you know what I mean, because they both would experience the exact same thing. Both the copy and the original would go into their life thinking that they were the original, because their memories are identical, and for all intents and purposes, they are, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
One thing that's like because digitizing like humans is like a very interesting concept. Because to what extent is it just like the biochemistry that determines our personality and what we are, if you know what I mean? And can you translate that into like a machine?
Yeah, is it just enough brain power, or is it something else? Ooh.
Well, there is like parts of the brain, right, that are like the problem-solving parts that evolve in certain animals and don't evolve in other animals, you know? And like that's like when you start adding expansion packs, you know, it's like have you ever do you have like you know they have like the Sega Saturn and then you add like the Sega CD onto it?
Yeah.
That's that it's like that for the brain. So like certain animals have like those more complex parts of their brain, they have them, and other animals just don't have, you know, the money to afford a Sega CD. So, like, I think it comes from that point where, at some point, the problem-solving brain becomes so powerful that it effectively just kind of like dominates all other parts of the brain, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And it just starts like it starts diverting energy towards itself. And that's also why like like I don't really agree with because I have a very like how should I put it? I have a very like I guess not simplistic, but I have a very like I guess a realistic or like nihilistic view of like animals and and like creatures because I'm like of the I'm of the opinion or of like the you know I just know that humans are just smart animals, you know, we're just like particularly smart primates. There exist dumb primates as well, but we are somewhat of the smart ones. And like some creatures that don't have the capacity to like fully experience like a range of emotions that we do. Like I mean, obviously animals are sad and happy and all that jazz, but there is no like you can anthropomorphize, but like make no mistake, like aside from a very few selection of animals, we are definitely the most complex ones. And you know, they couldn't give a fuck other animals about like whether we live or die. Like so
It's all a symbiotic relationship.
pretty much. And we have a intrinsic duty onto ourselves, you know, to keep the microorganisms that inhabit and enable our survival to give them a house, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm very much like don't be like inherently cruel to animals if you don't have to, like don't like just for fun bully animals. But also, you know, keep in the back of your mind that you're also just an animal, so don't be like holier than thou towards like animals, you know. There is wasps that lay eggs inside live insects and have their children devour them from the inside out whilst they're still alive, you know. So with regards to that, we're relatively decent about the whole thing.
Well, we raise chickens.
Yeah.
The ones that are male, we throw in the grinder and kill
Yeah.
them. So they never really had a chance to begin with.
No. But you know, it's the same as with like when you have like the fucking I forget what it's called. Is it called krill? Like frog eggs? I don't remember exactly.
Krill is like the things that whales eat.
Oh, spawn? I think that's what it's called. Like just like frogs eggs, you know, like the or like baby frog, infant frogs, or like spawn or whatever. Like the comic book character Spawn, but like those just get eaten by the buttload. They also don't really get a chance. Like they the only reason they get a chance is because just sheer numbers. So spawn camping is a real thing, and we've just perfected it. Spawn camping.
Rule world have to be so cruel?
Yeah, and then also like I feel like human life has intrinsically way more value than animal life. So than other animal life, I should put it. So if you asked me, like, how many whales is one person worth? I'd be like, well, he's probably not worth all the whales in the ocean because that would come back to affect other humans, if you know what I mean. But he's worth a couple of whales to the point like I would only wager his life against its impact on humanity as a whole, if you know what I mean. Like, because at the end of the day, like if you ask me, like, would you, if there was like a choice between saving a person or saving a box of puppies, I'd save the person, you know, because the puppies are easily replaced and are not as important as humans are.
I guess one benefit of having a lot of different species in the empire, right, is
Mm.
that they will grow a lot faster.
True, I
Like,
guess.
It's like parallel production.
Yeah, it is true, but you know, yeah, it is an advantage, I suppose. But the other advantage, you lose efficiency overall because you can't like efficiently micro them all. And right now, I'm just busy turning everybody in my empire into synths. So
Seems like all of the guys who I have who are not my race is, fucking intelligent, so I don't really have to care too much.
hmm. Yeah, I think before we, because I mean, it depends on what you mean by synthetic, like life. I think the best odds of immortality that we have, because I think immortality is one of those things that's incredibly achievable, right? Like it's really, really not hard to achieve compared to say faster than light travel, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah.
I think by the time we have faster than light travel, our immortality will already be a thing. Because it already exists in biology, or at least practical immortality, because I consider immortality living, you know, more than thousands of years. Anything after that, you're just kind of like, it just becomes a statistic, you know, you're gonna die at some point, you know, you're never gonna be able to like avoid getting hit by lightning or whatever, you know?
Yeah, I do consider it as like, cause it's like nothing is immortal, but yeah, come on, like if I lived inside my like safety capsule forever, you know, I could technically live forever. You know?
Yeah, and then you could just live until, you know, your safety capsule deteriorates or whatever the fuck, but like just living until catastrophic accident on average will probably net you to live almost 1,000 years, I'd reckon, depending on how dangerous your life is.
And besides, if you have bionics, you know, you can always just
Well, yeah,
fix
but
yourself.
no, I'm considering like until you get totally destroyed by something, that's when you die, because there's no coming back from total annihilation, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
'Cause at some point you're just gonna get hit by like a truck that's just gonna destroy you beyond repair, right? Or at some point you're gonna get hit by like lightning, or gonna get destroyed in like a total way. Like if you lose like limbs, whatever, you can just come back from that. That's not a problem, you know. But if your brain gets completely destroyed, that's GG. That's all you have to keep alive is just your brain for like a while. And then you could maybe have like a synthetic casing or whatever the hell for your brain to make it like even more durable than it is, but generally the skull is actually quite durable already. But that's when it ends. You know, you can get shot in the head and you're probably still fucked. Like you can't really, because it's hard to, you can probably repair it, but you lose part of your personality, I suppose, or at least part of your mental function.
Mm-hmm.
But like, so pretty much that's how I measure, like, until you die from an accident that's too hard to come back from. That's what I consider immortality.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a fair definition, I suppose.
Because that's what a lot of like, oh hello.
Synthetic avatars, fascinating. Wait, what do you call yourself again?
The Dowie.
I thought it was dog.
They want me to call myself Dowie Mutatis, but I just call myself the Neo Dowie. There you go. I am now the Neo Dowie.
Fascinating.
And that pretty much solved all my energy problems. And you know, food is now low. Like we produce 48 food and consume 0. Now the only like living organics that are still around are my clone armies. They're the only ones.
And they too shall die.
Probably at some point. But yeah, human cloning is actually an interesting thing as well, because a clone is, in my eyes, like indistinguishable from just a normal child, if you know what I mean. It's like, it's the same process, because you can't, like, we don't have a synthetic womb, if you know what I mean. That's not a technology that we have. So the child would just have to be carried by a person, then delivered by a person, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, but it's illegal in most countries, cloning, so human cloning at least.
Well, that's the thing though. You don't need to do it in every country. You just need one.
True that. But I find it strange that it's illegal, if you know what I mean. Because,
Yeah,
but
I mean, I don't know. It's like one of those arguments is like they presented, and I'm like, but what's the problem?
yeah. Where's the beef? I can create loyalty circuits. Okay. Do I want to make myself look a specific way?
I would describe the situation outside my window right now as very ominous.
What's happening?
Because it's gonna rain.
Oh.
I can say that I actually had started already. So joy of joys, cool air finally.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's like I don't know. It's never been like this previous summers, but now it's like this summer is like fucking horrible.
Yeah, it's been the hot summer. It's interesting.
what happened to my fleet capacity. Huh.
Oh, that's interesting. In my empire right now, I have like, like synthetic intelligences, but like with like actual human synthetic intelligences. Because that is a thing. How would like increased mental capacity affect the developmental, like the personality development of like people? They'd all be like us, right, Polar?
Beep boop, yes.
Beep boop. God, now I have to upgrade all my my people were like my people is like
People are what?
my people have like become synths, but they need to become like upgrade to the newest model, if you know what I mean, all of them. Cause sure, you're synths now, but you didn't become like a synth with like all his traits spent, if you know what I mean. Really, that's one of the things like about, because surely like uh one of the greatest, like the things that would really propel humankind in every single which way is if people were immortal, if you know what I mean, or people were had like incredibly longevity, depending on how you want to phrase it, because it would mean that scientists would go on living for very long times. People would just be able to like have like a million professions, if you know what I mean, right? Like you wouldn't really get the guy that's like, I've been doing this for 100 years. Maybe you will get the guy that's like, 100 years I've been the same thing or forever. But you'll get people that are just super interdisciplinary, like geniuses, effectively. So I feel like it would boost all aspects.
My problem with that is like it does like not really taking into account like brain degradation, because if you haven't done anything for like 100 years, you can't really call yourself an expert in it still.
Well, the thing about like, cause if it's like the vision that I have, you just stay like, there would be no aging process, would effectively not be a thing, right? You'd always be like 20 to 30 range of age, right? Like that sort of ballpark where you're effectively, you're still like very rich in stem cells, you know. So I don't think brain degradation would be much of an issue. And I mean, I guess it's for if you literally are like in a vegetative state, you know, and you just don't do fuck all for like, 100 years, then sure. But I imagine a lot of people, especially like people that are big into academia, would absolutely like, relish it and would just be able to do so much more with their lives, if you know what I mean. Because a lot of issues is, like if you have like a genius mind, somebody who just his mind allows him to find solutions to problems that other people don't see, and he dies after a while, or he gets ill and dies, or he just gets old and becomes less useful. But if that's not a thing, then he can just continue to develop. And sure, at some point, I don't believe that people will just, that there's no cap to how like developed a person can get. But I do believe that the cap is yet to be reached, if you know what I mean. I think it's primarily old age and the side effects of old age that prevent people from just infinitely learning, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I guess I could see that.
And then you have the other thing that's like people are against gene modification, whereas I think it's a great idea. I mean, our generation will not benefit from it, but if, like, you know, 2 or 3 generations down the line, you can eliminate like a lot of genetic diseases and make, you know, the Ubermensch, then why not, you know?
I think they're called the Sore Losers Club for a reason.
Yeah. I'm like, damn it, if, you know, my generation is like imperfect, ugly people, then I want all generations to be imperfect, ugly people. And I'm like, but what if, you know, in a couple of generations time we could just have like nothing but beautiful, incredibly healthy people that have like no genetic defects? And that's like, that sounds like it's like obviously a utopian ideal, but that's
Like socialism to me.
that's like that seems like a goal that can be achieved, and that seems like something that should be celebrated as opposed to you know, being combated. Because in a world where everybody is, you know, just as beautiful and perfect as each other, there is no inequality. And then, you know, the communist, the fucking Soviet anthem plays. Oh, something fucking happened to my factions. What the hell?
Something happened outside.
Oh boy. Sounds good.
I just see like a flash of light, and 20 seconds later, 10 seconds later, I guess. That happens.
Oh, barren worlds are like, oh, okay. Apparently a barren world is like a place that that you can't settle on, even if you're like a thing, but I can just turn it into like an alpine world or whatever the hell, or Arctic world, whatever I fancy. Alright, I will have to unfortunately renege on the trade because I start to need minerals now again. Oh, I can't actually end the trade, I don't think. Aw. Then, well, if I can't do it like that, then I'll do it like this. Alright, Blarn, I've made you a deal to offset the other trade a little bit, because I like don't need energy anymore.
But I need energy, or I need minerals still.
Yeah, but I can't like afford to give you all of them. You're still getting like 30 from me, if you know what I mean. It's a small amount, but it's something. I wonder how the hell do you upgrade synth populations then? Pretty sure there's a way, right?
It's a project you do. When you, or sorry, you modify the pop.
Yeah?
Yeah, so good species.
Oh, yeah, I did.
And then you set or create templates.
Oh, yeah. Apply template. There it is. Okay, just apply it everywhere. How much would that cost? Wow, I could do that so easily. Just literally, oh my god. Yeah, how long would it take to literally turn every single one of us into like the latest operating system? It's about like a 4-year plan. I'm like, all right. How long would it take to build 4 million robots or upgrade 4 million or 4 billion robots or whatever the fuck, however many it is. Actually, it might be 200 billion robots or however. Well, I think it's like one population is like a billion or supposed to be or whatever. Easy peasy. 5-year plan. See if I own planets that have.
You do have like all the science in the world, so.
What's sorry?
Well, you do have all the science.
I do. I have like so much fucking science. It's insane. I don't have any planets that have like good good modifiers for anything, I don't think. No. This one is good. Where is Uton located then? A leader capacity booster, which is really good. Okay, that's a thing. Don't worry, Prolarn. I'll set up an industrial sector that'll fix all of our mineral problems in the future. It'll just be this vortex of mineral production.
We'll see how long the crisis will last.
I want to get rid of my pacifism thing, but I have no idea, like...
What is so good about it right now for you?
What is good about what? Pacifism?
Yeah.
Well, it gives me more resources, but it used to let me have Mandate of Heaven, but I've gotten rid of Mandate of Heaven, if you know what I mean.
Right.
But I think I can do war. No, I can't do worms. We can't claim any systems. I don't think if you're I don't think if you're like any kind of pacifist, you can't claim any systems. Yeah, I want to get rid of the pacifist ethos, but I would have like no... Like, I guess I'd have to get rid of like the pacifists, but pacifists only make up, 13% of my government, if you know what I mean.
Well, how is that a problem? I don't get it.
Oh, because I can't declare wars. And that's not really a super problem, because it's not like the status quo is not in my favor, if you know what I mean. But it's more a matter of, like, I want to actually be able to destroy these fucking pathetic bastards that dare claim the same, oxygen as I do.
You don't breathe oxygen, though.
I don't know, maybe I do. Maybe I have, maybe I need it for, like, I have, like, some kind of weird combustion thing or whatever. Who knows? Probably don't need oxygen in all fairness. Probably just have like, we're on like a wireless electric grid powered by like a fusion reactor or something. Or fission. I keep forgetting which is the one that the sun does fusion, right? Because it fuses like it creates hydrogen or whatever.
Yeah, fusion is fused together. It's pretty easy to.
Yeah, yeah. So we have fusion reactor called the sun.
Yeah, it doesn't take too long until you can get fission now.
But
Yeah, because fission is an upgrade to fusion.
is it?
Yeah.
What does fission do then for us?
Well, I don't know. I'm just throwing shade really, like because fission is what the nuclear power plants are using right now.
Yeah. So I thought that fission was less efficient than fusion. Well, that's good.
It is.
Here's another thing where I just don't know enough about chemistry to really weigh in on this. But there has been these TED Talks, and I know TED Talks are like they're like the peak of scientific they're the peak of like scientific development, you know. If Einstein was alive right now, his medium of imparting knowledge would be TED Talks. But there was one about oh my god, fluoride, using fluoride reactors as opposed to uranium reactors. Or plutonium reactors, I should say. Not uranium reactors. But do you know anything about it, Lauren? About that?
I know Norway is like looking into thorium, but it's not really like any realistic thing that's gonna happen.
Yeah, unfortunately don't know enough to weigh in on that, unfortunately. The case that they made is that that fluorine reactors, like fluorine, it was either thorium or fluorine or whatever the hell they were using. Fluorine is incredibly common, and it's also located on the surface of like the moon as well and all that kind of jazz. And it's really easy to get, and it would be able to generate like more power, and it's not as like as dangerous as plutonium is or whatever the hell. Let's check. Fluorine reaction. Fluoride thorium. Liquid fluoride thorium reactor is a type of molten salt reactor. They use thorium fuel cycle with a fluorine-based molten liquid salt for fuel. Oh yeah, they're also way smaller is one of the things. The fission, visible isotopes publicly identified for use of nuclear fuel, uranium, plutonium, uranium. Yeah, it's all stuff I don't understand enough about. Yeah, and there's also like hydrogen hydrogen-based, I think it's like hydrogen-based batteries or whatever the hell, that are like solar cells that like generate hydrogen or whatever to power their things, and that's also been proven to work really well, except for on Mythbusters where they apparently fucked it up on purpose or something, and that was all controversy. You know, because it's the fucking oil tycoons, Polarn. They don't want alternative energies to be created.
I heard that.
Yeah. There, I'll look it up. Hydrogen. Okay. Solar hydrogen generator or whatever. Because you can use like it's a very easy thing. You can use electrolysis this uh using sunlight to turn water into fuel.
Aren't you just well, yeah, this but isn't it just like electrolysis? It's not actually anything to do with the sun or solar panels. It's just the electricity it's used to make hydrogen, right?
Yeah. It's just the reason why it's solar is because solar is like was like the easy way to like purportedly do this, but it's pretty much just the thing that's important here is not whether it's solar energy, it's the electrolysis to turn that into to create a fuel, if you know what I mean. So, and a fuel that's like more efficient than like, you know, petroleum or whatever the hell, or more easy to generate, shall we say, seeing as how generating petroleum is not exactly a thing you can do. Or at least not with like an energy surplus at the end. Because you might be able to synthesize petroleum for like, you know, 2 times the cost of like extracting regular petroleum, if you know what I mean.
Oh, like synthetic petroleum. That's not.
Like you can turn like oils and plastics back into petroleum at like a energy like minus, you know, like it's like worse to do that, if you know what I mean. Turning it back into petroleum. At least that's what I took away from that, from whenever they were explaining that, is that it was yeah, sure, you can like turn old plastics mixed with like oils back into petroleum, but the energy required to do that is more than what you get out of it, if you know what I mean.
So you have carbon monoxide
Mm-hmm.
and hydrogen, and you mix that together and make fuel out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, monoxide is quite easy to make from CO2, and
Mm-hmm.
hydrogen is obviously you can do it through electrolysis.
Yep, and there's a lot of hydrogen in the universe, Blarn, believe it or not.
On Earth even.
Yeah, on Earth, yeah, everywhere. Just you're fucking like spoiled for hydrogen. It's like helium and hydrogen that are like the most plentiful element in the universe, isn't it?
Yeah. It's in the Big Bang.
Yes.
And Neil deGrasse Tyson. I'm
Yeah.
here to talk like this for you for like the next
Yeah.
50 minutes at least. What's its show called? Like
I don't know, man. He seems like an asshole to me. Just looking at him, like he seems very obsessed about like the whole beating people at science kind of aspect of science. He's like, ah, fucking owned. You just got Tyson, son. No, I'm like,
oh, I don't think it's related to Mike Tyson.
I know, but yeah, he seems very rather than being like a kind of like benevolent disperser of information, he seems a very um like slayer of the ignorant type of scientist, if you know what I mean. Where he's like, oh, look at him just owning people online. Oh, he's so good. That's my impression of him.
Oh yeah, so I got that reputation. So
Yeah. Which I have very little like interest or whatever the hell. That's not where my interest in science is not the ability to fucking try and like verbally joust somebody into like submitting or whatever. Like, my nerd pole is bigger than your nerd pole, baby. Oh, this place is out of real estate to build habitats. Can you believe it? Let's move on to another place. What?
Yeah, that is impressive.
Yeah, like I built up all the habitats that I can do, and like all the planets have a habitat around this in this system. So you have to take our little construction ship elsewhere. Yeah, I'm sorry. This solar system is just full, and you're like, what? It's like, I'm sorry. It's full. We've built up. And I'm like, that is that how that works? And it was like, oh yeah, I guess.
Collapse the roof of solar system meme.
Yeah.
Alright, calm down, like. Jesus.
But
Just the rain. Hopefully it'll go over by the time I'm going out. But
yeah.
if it's gonna be like this, then I'm just not gonna go outside. Fuck.
No, of course. Like, what the fuck?
I'm looking at
Bareback?
the forecast. It's like, oh, this is like 0 millimeters of precipitation in 10 minutes. I'm like, no problem. I'm like, okay.
1 second. Yes. Just sorry about that. I'm back. Just discussing like the pros and cons of what kind of food we should get. So I'm like not really too hungry right now because of the temperature. Are you there? Oh boy. Oh, dude, those guys are so shit. Okay, sweet. Hello. Yeah, I noticed you were gone, so I didn't continue.
I sent you a Steam message.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay. I did not read that, unfortunately. Oh, but I acted accordingly. I resume standard protocol. It turns out that the faction thing actually is like not random, so it just always takes the thing that's like that like the least of your people are. Because right now 88% is like a fanatic, or 88% is like a materialist, and 8% is pacifist, and 1% is xenophobe, and 1% is democratic. So I have kind of a choice of whether I want to be xenophobe or democratic. I think that xenophobe is kind of good. But
Yeah, okay, well, yeah, it's not random, it's what I found out as well.
yeah, they should add it in a tooltip though. That's definitely a thing that they need to. Whoa there, buddy. Tooltip, you say?
That's devil speak.
You must be new around these parts. Yeah, I think I want the xenophobe, because I never wanted really the xenophobes to like not be in power, but I just don't want to like because the thing about the pacifists like is that if the pacifists allow themselves to like entrench into like your like system, right? If they like are just a faction that's just like entrenched, it's very hard to like steer your country into war without being attacked. Which I guess is good, unless you have like political deviance. So that's like one of the things is that you could do, just you could have like incredibly like politically devious like societies. That way you can kind of like more flexibly adjust your thing, but it's not exactly an ideal build.
Well, it's kind of what I got going on.
But did you make
So
your people purposely deviant?
No, not purposely, but I have a thing that's called encourage political thought.
Right.
That has like 50% ethics shift.
Is it because you're egalitarian or something?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. There's apparently shadow play on that thing. I do like how, I don't think barren worlds were always in the game, or like terraformable, but I do like how they're terraformable now.
Oh yeah.
I'm saving up influence to like get the xenophobes back in charge, so that I can wage some war. Cause like, oh, there's some war happening there. Yeah, the Hazar Empire are actually quite powerful. They have like a population of like 270, which is a higher population than what I have. That's for sure. I think, at least. I can't tell how much population I have. Can you tell?
How much you have?
Yeah.
Just go to the Empire view.
Yeah, it won't tell me. It'll say my like demographics, right? But it'll say like 4%, which is like one of my synthetic races, if you know what I mean.
No, if you go to contacts, it says you have 365 pop.
Oh, okay. Alright, so then I do have more pop than they do. I did not expect that.
I have 239 for reference.
Yeah, I gave my robots loyalty circuits. I don't know how like useful that'll be, but I figured it's a thing they can have. There's an abandoned terraforming project there. Can that have like catastrophic effects, the abandoned terraforming project? I keep forgetting.
I don't think so. Wait, is it like an event chain thing?
Well, it's one of those a special project that you can use the abandoned terraforming thing.
I don't want to comment on that then.
Yeah, this is just random chance. Toxic world, killing all life on the planet, becomes a random biome, but spawns mutated horrors that attack the planet's armies. World becomes a Gaia world with a huge bonus to happiness. Abandoned terrain, which is large, but with happening food and occasionally spawn bad events on the planet, so it's generally better to complete the project. Okay. Alright, let's resume the process. It'll only take me like a month. Oh, it turned into a Gaia world. How fortuitous. Pop growth speed percent 20%, which is something, I guess. That pop growth speed for my sweet robots, you know.
Well, I mean, you know, could be good. Could being the operative word.
Xeno-Mongols have declared war. Let's see, do I have... Is there a way to change my voice whilst in the game? Yeah, there is. Oh, you just go to advisor. What is the machine? Oh god, the machine intelligence one sounds the technocrat. Technocrat sounds pretty legit. Okay, I like the technocrat. Though they are very samey, the voices. Like, holy shit, they almost all sound the same.
I think it's just the same guy.
It's the same guy with like the same stupid voice modulator.
Yeah, she is one of those, oh my god, like the G35, you know?
I don't... G35, what?
Used to have like one of those like voice modules that was like, everyone was like, oh, this is really funny, for like 5 seconds.
Yeah. Oh, Rusty got one of those for like his D&D campaign. He hasn't used it yet, but man, I already like bullied him when he got it, because that's so cancer to listen to, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny for like literally, as you said, it's like funny for like a femtosecond, when you're like, oh hey, the novelty, but actually listening to like somebody using a voice modulator is just incredibly sad. So. Because if there was anything about Rusty where I'd be like, well, what is your biggest issue in this campaign? Oh, it's definitely the voices, man. If only you had like something like a voice modulator. Just can't stand the sound of your stupid voice. Inactive buildings, thanks game.
Since I upgraded the fucking fleet, it's like already obsolete.
I haven't upgraded my fleet in a while. I haven't really had a desire to. Currently just trying to get my government ethics to kind of work, and kind of because the issue with the Association of Higher Learning is that like they want me to get like science without borders, but when I have like the best science in the world, it's not really great, if you know what I mean. You want this research agreement. There you go. Confirm. Like we're actually like comparable in terms of research apparently.
Well, I have been catching up, I suppose.
Yeah, but like everyone else, it's like I have like fucking 60 texts they don't have, if you know what I mean. Like I guess you can give me some monthly minerals for that. You can only afford to give me 4 monthly minerals. Why not? I just want my people to be happy, so I'm just gonna do science without borders to like the fucking pathetic people, because there's the artificial intelligence network that has 2 planets and it's just absolutely pathetic, and I'm like, here, you can have my science research. Oh no, you can't apparently. How about the Commonwealth of those guys? Oh, there's other dwarves, the Commonwealth of Babaka or whatever the fuck.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm no longer dwarves, so.
Yeah. Or like your little weird midgets. Oh wait, can I even rival people as what I am? I've completely forgotten about that mechanic. Only neighbors with a relative strength that isn't trash can be rivaled.
Oh no.
Having research 3Ds with 3 other empires. I do have research 3Ds with 3 other empires now. God. Yeah, the scientists are very hard to please apparently, the higher association of learning, because like like nobody wants to fucking have my agreements. Like it's only you and your federation, mate, and everybody else doesn't.
I feel very sorry for you.
It's because I'm artificial beings, Blarn. They're fucking racist, is what they are. I'm just buttering up this primitive savage just so that I can kind of like appease my my scientific community. It's like, here we have like these fucking research agreements with these fucking savages. Are you happy now?
I'm able to get 3, so you should be able to get 3 as well.
No, like they don't like because I'm artificial, remember? So they don't like me.
Alright.
So, but I'm buttering one dude up like something fierce. So.
You should be able to get the prime awareness because they're robots.
Yeah, they don't seem to be very they were unfortunately not very into it.
Well, they are fully occupied, so maybe not.
I have opinion. I've managed to like give them enough gifts to where they're opinion 8. But they don't seem very conductive towards research agreements. They're still unfriendly. What determines attitude then? These guys are materialists and like authoritarian, like, or militarists. So they were materialists.
I don't know.
Stupid science faction. What, I have claims on them. Oh, they have claims on me. This much shit. How will you feel about that then? How about if I give you a research agreement? Like, mate, I know like fucking 100 more technologies than you do. Like, why would you fucking refuse this? And you're like, yeah, we're like, even though you fucking placated us with loads of fucking donations, we still don't like you.
Yeah. Go away, sir.
Yeah, I don't understand what makes people like friendly or not in this game.
Well, neither do I. But then again, like, I'm rivaled with the remaining people who are not my friends, so...
Yeah, I can't make rivalries. Like, because everybody's too weak compared to me.
Right.
Or what, the fucking dudes to my north are in your federation, what the hell?
Those are association.
Oh, okay.
So you can attack them as well.
Alright, good.
I was, gonna be like, lol, Kyle, so you have the, glorious pact, and then you have nothing, sir.
Yeah. Dumb bastards, a lot of them. Okay, now. Oh. Oh, it needs population support of more than 20%. Shit. It's a sad day because I can't declare war on people. Oops.
But I can.
You can indeed.
I just did.
Oh, you changed into like a different, literally like a different species. Yeah, there's no fallen empires in this, is there?
Well, no.
Hmm. That's unfortunate. Do you reckon there's any empire that can really resist either of us, like not even combined, like individually in this universe?
Well, I'm about to find out.
I guess you are, yeah.
As soon as I leave my thing, the fucking my what's it called, like everything just falls off because I don't have anything to run it with. But even with scaling, this is like
Not very hard. Yeah, and the thing is, like weird thing is, like I've like so many trade points, but I don't have enough traits to really get enough out of that. Like I can have 4 traits, but I have like a billion trade points, if you know what I mean. Yeah, what I'm gonna do is I'm just start turn my species into that model, apply template to those guys. No, apply this template to those old models. You're outmoded, old models.
oh shit, I got beat. It was going so well for me as well.
Oh, can those like? Oh, right now there's like one more upgrade that I need to do. Should there be more robots to be built?
Something that's really like confusing to me is like, why did they make it so ships like automatically upgrade to like, and they call it auto best as well? It's like I have not design manually a ship now in this expansion. That I feel like I'm really getting punished for it, but at the same time, I really don't care enough to like go
Yeah.
and do it myself.
Like, holy shit, why would you? Like, oh my god.
Well, because I mean, there's surely must be a reason why I'm always researching all these different types of shit, you know?
Oh wow, there's some people that converted to militarism. What people? Traditions. Factions. But there was not enough people that have a militarist ideology that they would do things. Okay, you're making more ring worlds, I think?
Oh, I just finished mine.
Oh, okay. Such expense. But they are quite good. It's just, they're just generally not worth what you put into it. But they are on the whole good.
I had to finish what I started.
It's
Besides, I needed a level 25 home world, you know?
Yeah, it's true. Where'd you put it?
In bit tugs near my, in the middle of my galaxy systems, I suppose.
Hmm.
Well, of course, the mandate has been unfulfilled. It's impossible to like build any more research stations. I would have to destroy
Yeah.
the ones I have and then build new ones. All for like 50 things. Which, you know, I'm all about that.
What if I told you that free movement is just an illusion? Okay, So where the hell is the free movement policy?
It's in under policies.
And then... Is it not?
Free movement. I think it's like refugees, right? Or is it
No. Oh wait, refugees. No.
resettlements? Wait.
Yeah, I can't see it. It's like, you can prohibit like forceful resettlement, but that's not exactly the same as having free movement. God, even all my sectors, even with like the highest tax from like the start of the game, they all are like floating, you know, like 50,000 minerals, 50,000 energy.
Yeah.
They're also having some issues. God, the resource silos are so like mediocre. The amount of resources they allow you to store.
Well, it has to be fair and balanced, Kyle.
Yep. Balance at the forefront, you know. But these future generations will say, well, the game was super balanced, you know, as they all have autism from all those injections. God, such an imbalanced game. There's a diplomatic grant, which is a new thing that I haven't seen yet. Yeah, I guess I don't. There's no. Yeah, there's no. I've no like. I don't even have like free movement. It's not even a thing that I can like enable. Seems like.
I don't have it as an option either. I'm not sure where it is.
Resettlement. I think. I think. I think resettlement prohibited. How about that? Is that what they mean when they say free movement? Yeah, it is. Alright, that's what they mean when they say free movement.
Don't you just love it when they're really clear and open about what they want?
Yeah, well, it used to be like I definitely remember that policy used to exist in the game. If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do I want like people to be egalitarian? I mean, being egalitarian is pretty okay, but I think xenophobes are better. Though their faction is harder to keep going. Yeah, I think egalitarian is better, I think, in general. I think I'll just promote the Democrats, really. Alright, Democrats are being promoted now. Couldn't I just build some democratic robots? That'd be interesting. What if, in order to make AIs, you had to like you couldn't there? What if there was like no way to generate like sentience, if you know what I mean? So the only way to get sentience is to just have a human and then turn that into a machine. You can't like have a machine have sentience. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
So you'd have to at some point be like, okay, well, do I want to like in an ideal world it would be like a voluntary position that you take where it's like, okay, well, do I want to become an AI now? Is that a thing that I want to do for money? You know, in the worst case scenario, you get into like a weird situation where, like you just practically like you just force, or well, you just like, you know, clone a child and then force him to become an AI. Post-apocalyptic world, you know, or like a grim sci-fi.
Well, I mean, you don't want to add anything that can make you know, people playing it uncomfortable, kind of.
You know, all AI is like, because there's no way to make anything self-aware like through a machine, and it was apparently like too hard for people to do. But it's not too hard to put like a sentience, like to transfer it is possible, which is that's like an interesting concept in my mind, where it has like there's like weird limitations where you get even more, you know, ethnic or moral dilemmas.
Oh, almost forgot.
I have 999.90. I have 99.98 physics research base.
Pretty good.
I've really not like gone. I've kind of stopped going like super ham into research because, you know, obviously at a certain point it's a little bit nuts, you know.
Capped that physics, society, and physics now, so not much point.
Don't want any of these inferior peoples migrating inside my country. They're all gonna turn into machines at some point. So I mean, you can come in, but you won't be able to leave ever. Getting just loads of messages that constructions have gone online. And during next election, I'll promote an egalitarian, which is a weird concept, you know. Rig the elections in favor of getting someone who's in favor of, you know, equality, I guess.
Live and let live, people.
You know, we will fight against nepotism, even though, you know, he got placed there by the weird gestalt conscious that I am, I guess. Only thing I won't be able to give the Democratic parties is I won't be able to let everybody be born equal, because I have the thing where leaders are twice as expensive, but they're just like, you know, way better.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
But what I can do is I can just hire those really good leaders and then just, you know, be like done with that decision. Oh, it's the max skill level 10.
Yeah.
And then you can't go any higher than that, no matter what.
No, I tried.
No. Dang. Just hire a general for the memes. I mean, fucking generals in this game, man. There is a more useless leader to have.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose you get divorced, but you know, then again, that's not really like that's not really a criteria, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Alright, I guess natural selection. Yeah. It'll make the Democrats happy. Will it also reduce the level cap of everybody? Is that like one of those things? Yeah, it is. Oh, fuck. Oh, it's fine. I didn't exactly have a lot of people that were at 10 skill. A lot of them were like in year 7, so I mean.
Apparently I have a disease, so no.
It's also an interesting thing. In a world where people can live for like hundreds of years, going back to like the hypothetical situation that we had at the start, and the only death is really like catastrophic accidents, because there's no real other death clause, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Surely death would be far more tragic in that case.
Well, yeah, I don't think much to say there.
If it's like, oh man, he had another, you know, a few thousand years in him or whatever. Though supposedly, as you age, your perception of time goes faster and faster. So, if you were to reach such an advanced age, like, my God, would days go by quickly?
Oh yeah, well, I don't know if it slows down as you get bored, you know?
Oh yeah, I guess it would, but well, actually, like it's not necessary. It's like if you do different things, right, throughout the day, the more different things you do, the less time compresses, quote unquote, for your experience wise. So doing like loads of diverse things makes time go by slower. According to my limited understanding of it. It would be very interesting though, because you wouldn't have like you wouldn't really have like generations. So if somebody was like a really good athlete or whatever, that's like just way ahead of the curve or whatever, or really good at esports or something, they could theoretically just stay on top of it for like, hundreds of years. Theoretically, of course.
Yeah, well, it's not super realistic, Kyle, but yeah, technically.
Nothing would be mechanically stopping them from staying on top of it for 100 years, if you know what I mean. Because providing they would not deteriorate naturally, it would really just be a matter of when will somebody actually be able to exceed their skill.
What do you mean I can't build a Dyson sphere in the binary star system?
Why are you building a Dyson sphere, Blarin? Do you not have enough power?
I'm only earning 500 a turn.
Why are you doing this to yourself? Oh man, are you gonna go manually destroy all your power plants after that then? Because I'd love to see you do that.
These guys want to give up. And what guys I'm attacking, you know?
Yeah. Well, it was an election. Oh, the re-election. Fucking, they already automatically re-elected. Fuck me.
Would be interesting, but like really like fuck with the game if that was the case. But like your re-elections or like election campaigns really mattered. Like if you're like, okay guys, if I win, there will be no wars.
Jesus.
It's consider like
They'd have to take out
election.
all the they'd have to take out all the other fucking stupid pop-up things to make like elections like a really big part of it, because that would be cancerous.
On the, well, you would actually have a use for influence in that case. Because right now, like, what fucking what flavor of elections do you want now? You know, really, it's
Oh yeah.
not a huge deal.
I'm still like waiting for my opportunity to like get a dude to like actually preach war, but it's really really hard to actually, even though we're not like fanatic pacifists, it's hard to like, because like fucking 90% of my people are materialist, right? So surely that would mean that the whole pacifist thing is not exactly at the forefront if 90% are materialist and only 5% pacifist. But it, I don't like drop an ethos or anything, if you know what I mean. So they're still like it's like those people who are secret atheists, but they're actually, you know, like, or people that are like, that say they're Catholic but they're actually really atheists. Fucking bastards.
Like chaos. Isn't Chaos like a hardcore atheist?
Yeah, he is.
I mean, fuck. Yes, of course he is.
He's a more avid atheist. Yeah, he's going to atheist heaven, also known as the ground, when he dies. I mean, that's not even true anymore, because some people get shot up into space.
Yeah, maybe he's like wants to do that, so the claim is going to heaven.
Mm-hmm.
More than any of these Christian fucks are.
Yeah. Never really understood the like appeal of having an urn with somebody's ashes in your house. Like,
So you can knock it over.
yeah, pretty much. It's so that it's so that it can fucking spill on something and be like extra tragic. That's pretty much why it exists. It's like a comedy prop at that point.
Yeah. Like fucking Monty Python did.
Yeah. Sorry. Just like one of those oh my god, it's like a guy just, you know, like gets like all his like relatives and extended relatives just get cremated, and he just collects them all so that he can make like a little like one of those like sand playpens or something for his child with all the ash. Builds a sand castle out of it. That'd be great.
Would be really like funny, and then like, you know, why?
Well, it would be just really good. I'm like, man, that's I wouldn't be like, look, I'd be more upset if like somebody was like, all right, we're gonna cremate him, put him in a urn, like a nicely decorated urn, then just put him somewhere. I'm like, dude, literally a picture has far more connection to me than like a fucking just ash does, if you know what I mean. Like, if you turn me into a sandcastle, that'd at least be funny, you know? But there's nothing funny about just, like, having some sand inside of a jar.
I don't think the point is humor, but...
And I'm like, hey man, that jar reminds me so much of when he was still alive. I don't really get it. It's like, you know, that's what you get if you just are not very religious, I suppose. Just don't really care that much about death. think it does promote like a much healthier attitude towards life if you don't believe in an afterlife, if you know what I mean. Because there ain't no second chances, Blarn.
Yeah, but there's also no reason to live.
Well, the reason for to live is to not just be dead. Because, you know, death is at, like, I guess, like, nothingness is at the start of your life and nothingness is at the end of your life. So, you can, the nice thing about life is there's always an opt-out button, if you know what I mean. No matter what, you can always opt out. And that's, like, the nice thing about it. So if you're not enjoying yourself a lot, you can just, you know, you can just wait and then you'll opt out automatically. Because, you know, they'll just realize you're AFK or something and kick you from the server. Or you can do something about it. So I think it's a really nice system there.
It's a bit pay to win, but yeah.
It's pretty pay to win, but it's also not very balanced. Like, I think humans are pretty OP in all honesty compared to like all these other animals.
Yeah. Especially whitesmiths.
Whitesmiths? What?
You know, as opposed to blacksmiths, you know.
Oh.
Construction online.
It's kind of hard then. Like, is anyone really, like, I hope that like our generation and generations after our generation, I think most of them are not exactly religious, at least more so than ever before. So hopefully that's just a trend that keeps perpetuating itself, because it, you know, there's no easy answers to difficult questions. Let me put it like that.
There's no easy ways out.
Yeah, it's not like, why are you alive? No, your parents. It's like, what are you here for? Oh, you decide, I guess. Better make it up quick, because you only got like 80 years in you, buddy. And then you're going back to nothingness. I was like, alright. Like, is there an afterlife? Don't hold your breath. No, seriously, you'll die.
Don't hold your breath, yeah, good one.
Because that's one of the real interesting things about like death as a whole, right? Is that it's very like, it's sad, but not sad for you, if you know what I mean, for the person that actually is dead, the way I see about it. Sure, the dying part of death sucks the most, right? But after that, it's very hard to form an opinion on it, you know what I mean?
Well, no, I'm pretty strong opinions on it. I pretty much know what's gonna happen. No Dunning-Kruger effect here.
Mm-hmm.
I show you.
Well, yeah, no, you know it's gonna happen, but there's no really like even no matter how much it sucks to die, like the process itself, like not necessarily the after effect of already being death, like there's no more after this is a really nice thought in all honesty. Only 2% of my population is the fucking thing. Holy shit. Can I like turn my robots into like renegades? Let's see. I'm gonna try and see, because I can very easily just convert the whole of my population, if you know what I mean. That's very cheap for me to do. So maybe I can be like, Do you have like Renegade as an option? Nope. There is no option to make them my robots deviants, Pilar, and help.
Oh, well, I think it's a thing you can make it creation, but yeah.
Yeah, like it might not be for like synths. It might be for robots, empires, if you know what I mean, but not for synths.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I can brag about sort of is that I have like I can store almost 100,000 minerals. So that's a thing, right?
That is the thing, yeah.
Oh, no more habitats can be built in this place. Guess we move on, troop. This place is still ripe for building. Yeah, if I wasn't so focused on like shifting around my ethos, if you know what I mean, I would have been able to build way more habitats than I currently have. But I'm not doing too badly. Yeah, I've kind of used like one habitat for minerals and like Unity and minerals, and it seems like it'll give me that is eight times six. 8 times 6 is 48. So it seems like it'll give me 96 minerals in total, and I've used some of it on Unity. So that's 96 minerals if you use like 2 buildings for Unity from a habitat. Which is not too bad. It's not great. Habitats really are the worst for minerals in terms of like anything else, but it's better than like not having anything. Because just to put it into perspective, like I've got like, let's see if I have like, where is that mineral planet? Oh, are you building another one?
Why does it like give you a warning for every time I do something?
Now I don't know, man. Like it's just, I'm just like wondering what's happening. Yeah, just to put it into perspective, Mineral Prime, which isn't even dedicated minerals, right? It already produces like 130 minerals, and it's not even like online. Like it's not even fully online, to put it like that. Then let's see. Yeah, so it's really only science that they're good for. Science and energy is what habitats are good for, and a little bit of Unity, but not a lot. Because how much influence does it cost you to build a whole ring world fully?
Fuck, I don't know. It's like 270 per step.
Oh my god.
it's not cheap.
Jesus, it cost me 200 per habitat, which also isn't cheap, but fuck me. It might be the ring world might be slightly more influence to population efficient because that's like what. Actually, I'll look it up. Ring world, how much influence it is in total exactly. Because if it's 270 times 4.
No, you have like the base.
Oh.
You gotta build the frame and the site, and then each of the 4 sections.
Oh man. But do you only build it, use the influence once?
What do you mean once?
Do you only pay once for influence? Or do you pay influence for every step of the way?
I don't actually remember.
Okay, because if you only pay influence once, then it's not too bad. Then it's actually pretty influence efficient. But if you pay like influence every time, I'm like, Jesus, man. I'll probably go for megastructures as my next policy or whatever. If I don't already have that. I don't think I can build ring worlds now. No, I can't yet. I can build the gateways, like, oh man. God, I'm promoting the Democrats and they're like, no. Wow, those fucking predictions are so bad for like how much of our pops will are like likely to accept a population, because they're like, oh yes, according to our calculations, we expect that 13% of our population will become egalitarian, and we expect that 57% of our population will become materialist. 92% of our population is materialist.
Well, that's where the shift comes in, you know, if it's like very like anti-shift and takes a while, I guess. Because we might have like some government building that gives
disunity.
Yeah, some of them might give a government thing as well. Government ethics attraction.
Yeah, but I don't want to be people to be materialist, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, but you might have buildings that do that you're not aware of.
I don't think there's any building that lets me like destabilize unity. I think I just have to make people of that ethos win the election and then just hope to fuck that people become that.
But you're sure you don't have any buildings that promote government ethics?
Oh, no, I don't. Like, not like, except for, you know, the capitals, but I can't really get around that, you know?
Yeah.
No, I went out of my way not to build any of that shit. Yeah, let me... Right, I know I made you guys all minerals, but I'm gonna just like replace it with science because I realized that I really could not like be fucked for more minerals. Like, just fuck it, dude. You don't need it. Yeah, I've got researchers that have been alive for hundreds of years now, which is quite nice. Trying to fish for like a genius one. There it is, I found one. But he's not the right type of robot. Hello darkness, my old friend. Guess I'll hire him anyway, why not? Keep him as a bench warmer. I also like how like AI synths can have like an assistant AI and that somehow helps them. There it is.
Well, you also have that for the robots, you know.
Yeah.
Central neural network, but you know we have like an assistant.
Yeah.
You like it?
Like what? Do we just like not pay them enough for like to have their own assistant? So they just have to like bring their own, and that's the benefit. It's like yeah, we just I have like an assistant. She's like my niece, and I'm like okay, and that's like one of your perks then I guess. Just cycling through, trying to get decent leaders. Because only like a sapient AI assistant is really good. Christ. Like, mate, you are a sapient AI. And it's like, yeah. Another thing, this is like a very minor nitpick, but if they just had like, if I could just pay energy to like cycle my leaders as opposed to having to like manually hire one and then fire them, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, because I was like looking for one of those intellectual governors. Fucking never came, you know. And I was like almost convinced they removed it from the game because I'd hired so many people. But no, actually they were here.
Yeah, I have like, I actually have an intellectual one. Active
Yeah,
Warzone
I
in
have
proximity.
one now,
Okay.
but it's right here.
Yeah, of course I have the intellectual like on the thing that like I've horribly managed that those sector governors then. Like I've like the intellectual on like the thing that literally does not matter at all. Wow. Well that just gave me 100 research, just like such a minor micro thing. Well, fucking one of my robots is a fucking substance abuser. You figure that shit out. Like what does he like drink battery acid or something?
Pretty much.
I just need my fix, man. I'm like, pull yourself together. I am together. I have a governor that's 150 years old. He's pretty sensitive about his age. I'll try and get like a second intellectual or whatever. Oh man, trying to find leaders is hard. Lauren, help.
Can't help you, sorry.
They're all just like, we can dig, I guess. Oh, there he is. Found him. Sweet. Okay. Yeah, definitely need the extended lifespan research for sure. Man, my fucking admiral, man, his life is so easy. He's been around for 200 or like 122 years, not a single war, by the way. He has never seen combat. I wouldn't even be surprised if he doesn't know what the word combat means.
But where's the endgame crisis? Is what I'm wondering about.
That's a good question actually, because we are definitely like usually they happen in the mid game, don't they? I left all the settings on standard, in case you were wondering. So.
Yeah. Like the one time we need a good endgame crisis, and it doesn't happen.
Yep. Wish you could just do like an empire-wide search for somebody that has fucking Jenny as a robot assistant or whatever the hell, or a sapient robot assistant, or is a genius. Like, they all have pseudo like Germanic names in my empire for some reason. It's a maniacal dude. It's another maniacal guy. Get a maniacal man. Pretty sure I already have mega engineering as a tech. I'll just check though. If I remember. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I do. I've had it like a while. I can restore mega structures, but I can't.
You can't build them at the same time as habitats.
Mega structure there. I don't think I have a mega structure within my borders. I know that like some enemies that I have do, but no. I've literally practically researched every single tech in the game, and I'm just like doing loop-de-loops at the moment.
Well, there's like infinite, I think almost infinite repeatable ones.
Yeah, I'm doing those. Like I've been doing those for a while. Oh, why are those fleets like that? Oh, there's an election. Holy shit, I need to make sure to manipulate this. My bad. What are you? You are the Democratic Reform Forum. I think those guys there. What's necessary here? Yeah, like nobody was gonna vote for them, so I just have to make sure that Oh my god. Oh, dude. Alright, for the Democrats, Pilarn.
Spending all your influence.
Yeah. Oh, fuck it. In for a penny, in for a pound. Alright, I've spent literally all my influence. I've upped it like 19 times, so I've spent like almost 1,000 influence on trying to get them elected. Watch me fail.
Mana is worth something in these games, right?
Yep, for sure. You know it, baby. Okay, I think the guy that I wanted won. I'm not mistaken. Don't know though. Yeah, he won. Holy shit. No, that was good. Fuck me. Spending 1,000 influence just to do that, something that minor, you know. I'm just hoping that the egalitarians take off with like an egalitarian in charge, because only literally 3 robots are into it. You know, three out of my population of almost 500. You know.
Well, I mean,
Just really don't give a shit about it. They just like care more about materialists and pacifists, and out of that they just like in like an infinite world, I guess, like because all that's been happening is my materialists have been climbing. That's literally just all that's been happening. There is nothing in terms of like anything else that's been happening. It's just been the materialists that are doing good.
well, I only have. I don't have any xenophobes, authoritarians, or spiritualists, and like I have very few. Like, apparently a lot of xenophiles. That
Yeah. I have 6%. I have like 6% misc and then 92% materialist. So there's a 2% that isn't being accounted for somewhere, but like it just goes to show you that it's really like I'm just materialist. Like literally whatever the second thing is does not matter, but I can't change it because I need something to be 20% something in order to change it. So if I was like a hacker man and I was actually smart, what I do is being like, okay, it seems like materialist is never gonna like lose, if you know what I mean, but I wasn't sure about that. So I should have just promoted something else except for materialist.
Mhm.
But it's just how it goes. Because I'm not promoting them, I don't think. No, I'm definitely not promoting them. Right, full rights for AI, robotic pops, mechanist civic. There's no like victory condition that's just you researched everything, is there?
Nope. You gotta conquer the galaxy, man. Although, let's see.
If we just federate together, we would have 60% of the habitable planets.
You sure?
Yeah, because I have 34 out of the. I already have like 60% of the habitable planets. Blarn. I have 34 out of 59 or out of 49 habitable planets according to the thing.
Well, you can join and see what happens.
Sure, why not? Boom. Let's see. How is that victory condition happening? Yeah, our federation owns 62 out of the... Oh no, never mind. We need more. Oh well.
We need 12 more. Which, I mean, we can do.
Yep. My fleet capacity got reduced.
We could, let's see. Who could we attack?
Just whoever. I think we've already won in all honesty. Don't really think there's much of a point. That's kind of one of my problems with Stellaris, is it's not really that fun to wage war, and we have like an overwhelming force, I think, compared to anything else that's out there.
Oh, I mean, they are matching me, some of these guys. Like, no, not matching me, sorry, like, one of their fleets is equivalent to one of my fleets, rather. So, I don't know if you count that as matching, but yeah, like, 1v1, yeah, can lose, which I did. Now, if we are winning, then we don't need to, like, the game to tell us, you know?
Yeah.
We have, 600 minerals per turn, 400 energy.
Yeah, like a fuck ton. I'm just max on it. I've just been max on everything for like this whole time, dude.
650 unity.
686 unity. Yep, and I've just been researching repeating text this whole time, so I get like 35% energy credits, for example, increased, and 20% increased minerals. Oh, so do you want to call it? Because I'm kind of like not very interested in killing everything.
No, I think we should like continue to the better end. If you don't mind.
Well, I do. Yeah, that's one of my problems with Stellaris, is that like I don't really enjoy the combat in the game, if you know what I mean. So like, do I want to subject myself to like, because that fucking one neighbor right next to me has one planet, right? So it's just a matter of going in there, destroying it, and then there you go. And like all the other dudes, like I have so many resources at my disposal. They are not winning. Like it's just a matter of how long can they resist until they lose. So that was the thing. Yeah, and also, yeah, no endgame crisis is triggered, which is also strange. Because that might have, like, shaken things up a bit, but it didn't.
Yeah, those are usually like quite vicious, but I don't know why it didn't trigger at all.
Weird.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go dress and then.
Yeah.
So see ya.
Alright. Later.